trip ya.
Ini Mas Adit berarti backup ya.
Oke. Sebentar, aku tapi bukan co-host ya.
Dibuat host Mas Misamal.
Hostnya Mas Amal ya.
Balik.
Ini gabung lagi
balik.
Mungkin masalah ini ya, jaringan kali ya. Bisa mohon saya di ini Mas Amal
dibuat host saja Mas Adit. Mas Adit dibuat host saja.
Mas Amal juga bukan co-host ya.
Mas Amal host tadi sekilas. Sebentar.
Halo Yan. Udah balik ya. Jaringan kali ya. Bisa mohon saya di ini Mas Amal
dibuat host saja Mas Adit. Mas Adit dibuat host saja.
Mas Amal juga bukan co-host ya.
Mas Amal host tadi sekilas. Sebentar.
Halo Yan.
No. Oke, ready ya.
Jaringan kali ya. Bisa mohon saya di ini Mas Amal
dibuat host saja
Mas Adit.
Sudah host ya Mas Adit.
Mas Amal
kok saya nggak bisa ya? Iya saya.
Mas Amal host tadi sekilas. Sebentar.
Sekarang udah enggak kayak. No.
Oke, ready ya.
Jaringan kali ya. Bisa mohon saya di ini Mas Amal
dibuat host saja
Mas Adit.
Sudah host ya Mas Adit.
Mas Amal
kok saya nggak bisa ya?
Hello, welcome Miss Nadia and Miss Herdianti, welcome. Mas Hari, welcome. Welcome everyone. Welcome to SpeakUp. We're still waiting for the other participants, so please be patient there. Hope you're all doing all right. Welcome Miss Wardania Dewi. Welcome. Sure. Yeah, welcome. We're still waiting for the other participants, so it's gonna be a moment.
Girl, you're amazing, just the way you are. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away. Call me baby if you need a friend. I just wanna give you love. Come on, come on, come on. Reaching out to you, so take a chance. No matter where you go, no, you're not alone. I'm only one call away. I'll be there to save the day. Superman got nothing on me. I'm only one call away.
Right, I think Masian, we can start now. It's already 7:05, 7:04.
Okay, Mister.
Alright. Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight. Yeah. How are you? How are you all? Doing good?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. All right. Yeah. It's I think it's quite nice Friday night here. Hopefully the weather is also nice there. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Cahyo. I'm gonna be your MC for tonight's event. Yeah, hopefully it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be fun. So as the MC, I am going to share you the rundown of the event. Give me some time. Right. Yeah, hope it's visible, the screen. The rundown of SpeakUp 28. The first one will be the opening, like right now. I think I have officially opened the event, yeah, by greeting you guys. Yeah. And then we will have the info session. I'll share some information. And then the main presentation from our speaker today, Miss Nissa here. Yeah, you'll have 20 minutes. You'll get, yeah, the presentation is around 20 minutes. And then you will have the focus group discussion. So yeah, as the name stands, speak up. So you need to speak up. You need to share your opinion during this time, especially in focus group discussion. Don't be shy. Yeah. Share your opinion and, well, answer the questions given by the facilitators. Yeah. So by the way, you will have one facilitator each group. I think the groups have been shared to the WhatsApp group. So yeah, join the right group later on. And then you'll have group presentation. Group presentation is that when you share what you have discussed in the focus group discussion or in the breakout rooms, yeah, you will have the opportunity to ask questions to our speaker tonight. Yeah, you have Q&A for approximately 25 minutes. Yeah, there will be 2 or 3 questionnaires, and then the today's speak. The last one will be the closing. So we'll finish around 9. Yeah. All right, that's the rundown. I think it's clear enough. Now we move on to the next agenda, which is the info session. So I'm going to share a really important information from Cilacs UI. We proudly present to you the, how do I say, this is one of the programs, one of the best programs that we have. It's called Progressive. It's Progressive 35, meaning there have been 34 batches. Yeah, we are going to start that on 19th of September this year. So it's a 1-year program, yeah, or like 2-semester program. So this program will covers many of the language aspects. English, of course, like pronunciation, and then structure, and then listening, speaking, fluency, and some others. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really nice program. I mean, you can really learn the language intensively, I would say, before, before you really apply for the scholarship or you want to improve your career. I think everyone nowadays needs the language or needs English, right? So yeah, you can just register off, or if you have further questions, you can click on the website, Cilacs UII, or you can just call or text the number here. Yeah, it's the WhatsApp number. Yeah. 085 743 650 224. Yeah. Yeah, do it as soon as possible. Yeah, because we are going to start soon, 19th. Right. I think that would be the info session, yeah, from me. And then the next agenda would be the presentation, yeah, from our speaker tonight. So here the speaker is Miss Nissa. I think she likes to be called Miss Nissa, yeah. And then she is a graduate from UIN Malang, yeah, UIN Malang, like, and then for the bachelor degree, and then for the master degree, she studied Master of Education in the University of Sydney, yeah. And then she now works in Islamic University, UIN Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang. Yeah, and then also a lecturer in Brawijaya University. And she has many experiences. She has been teaching for quite a long time, and then she is a LPDP awardee, LPDP scholarship awardee, and then research scholarship awardee to National University of Singapore. Yeah. She is also best graduate from Department of Language and Literature. And then she has been speaking in many occasions. Yeah. Speaker at Road to Successful Scholarship Application. Then planner speaker on the Asian Conference of Education. And then also speaker on the talk show of Beasiswa Dalam dan Luar Negeri in Darul Ulum University, Jombang. Yeah, and many others. And she has thousands of publications. No, she has written many journals. Like she's an expert. That's basically what I was trying to say. Without further ado, I will invite the speaker, one and only, Miss Nissa Mukti.
It's Ilma.
Ilma Mukti, my bad. All right, Miss Nissa, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Cahyo. I think your introduction was it was too kind and too generous. I'm not that of an expert, but thank you very much. So hello, everyone. Good night. How are you? You can open your mic or say hello or put it on the chat box. I hope you're all good, yeah. It's already night here if you stay in East Java, but I don't know, probably if you stay outside the area of East Java, probably it's also in the night, but we have different hour time. Anyways, probably without further ado, because I only have 20 minutes, I would like to share my screen with you guys today. And we will be talking about sharing, we will be sharing about a journey to self-discovery. And in this case, it will be based on my journey, of course, because I'll be talking about my journey. When I took my master's and when I have got awarded by LPDP scholarship for my doctoral degree. So I will be continuing my PhD next year. It's either on the University of New South Wales or the University of Sydney. So I've been granted LPDP awardee again, but yeah, it's still on the process of LOA and everything. Okay, so the question is actually because the big theme is a journey to self-discovery. So that means it's basically knowing ourselves, getting to know about yourself because you want to discover who you really are. So the topic will about who are you? And the first thing that I've learned for myself, and probably you can also try to reflect this to yourself as well, is what do you enjoy the most? You can do this and you can reflect this towards yourself when you did your studies, either if you're doing bachelor right now or if you're doing masters. So when I say what I enjoyed the most, I will relate this to both my bachelor and master. Again, it depends on the field of study because my field of study was teaching English for second language learning and learners for masters. And for my bachelor, I had, it was actually more of English literature, and there was no specification whatsoever on English for education. On that note, I realized that I think there is only one course of study at my university, which I'm really interested in. And I've realized that that course is actually the English education. So it's really important for all of us here to really get and understand what do we actually enjoy the most? Is it really in our field of study? Is it really, can it be found in one of the courses that you do in your studies? Or is it taught or self-taught? Sometimes when I had my students coming to me, they always say it like, oh, Mrs. Nissa, I actually learned economics, but I'm so interested in the studies of environmental engineering, something like that. So that's quite like very contradictory to what she or he is studying, right? So this is why I mentioned, is it taught or is it self-taught? Self-taught means that it's you teach to yourself about that field of study. No one teaches you. The university doesn't teach you, stuff like that. So by understanding what we enjoy the most really can be the base or foundation of what we're going to take later when we are applying for a scholarship. Because we really need to know for masters and doctor, what kind of programs do we want to study and what university do we want to apply in? Getting to know ourselves, getting to know, do we like to be an introvert person or extrovert? Do we like cold weather or warm weather? Those kind of situations really can suit us later. What kind of countries or environments or universities am I mostly enjoyed in? Something like that. So what kind of things do you enjoy the most? This is why the first time I chose Australia is by considering that Aussie is close to Indonesia. It has 4 weathers, which I can probably live on. And the field of study, which is TESOL, is really just, it keeps on going and going. It's been a long-standing tradition there for teaching English, and the curriculum is really great there. So that's why I took Australia as my home country, not home country. Indonesia is still my home country as my, region, country for scholarship. And then, are you on the right track? So you need to really make sure that you're certain you want to do this. Usually, this will come across when, and I realized this when I also teach or do some consultation with my students. They mentioned that, as I've mentioned earlier, they like to, or they want to continue having environmental studies or environmental engineering for their secondary master or doctoral degree, while their bachelor is actually something that has nothing to do with environmental. And so I asked them again, are you sure you really want to do this? What motivates you? What drives you to actually do this kind of field of study instead of, doing the bachelor degree? Are you sure? So I always ask them to, how will it affect your future or your present career? And I want to tell you guys an experience of my students actually, and also about me. So one of my students who really loves environment, and she just want to tackle the environmental problem in Indonesia, she decided to quit her job and she wants to be a volunteer in one of the organizations that actually tackle environmental issues. And I asked her, so will it not affect your career? And she said, no, because it's going to be contributing to my future studies. And also when I come back to Indonesia, I want to be a kind of person, if what, something like that. So will it develop you to become a better person? So that's actually the kind of question that I've been asking to myself as well when I applied for a scholarship, because the first time I actually applied for LPDP, I failed. I think it was on 2015. I just applied it without actually understanding who I am, without considering what I want. So basically, I just followed what my seniors did, what my fathers did, you know, what my friends did, without having to understand, oh, this is something that I want and I'm certain of this. So this is why my moment of self-discovery is quite a long time, I would suppose to say. It's about like 1 year when I decided to come back again and try for the scholarship again. So I asked myself, like, am I on the right track? So then when I realized that, oh, okay, this is what I want TESOL. Why? Because when I graduated, it was really fun for me to teach. And I've been in the world of teaching since I got my bachelor degree. So after I finished my bachelor, I did some, you know, unofficial teaching kind of things. And I was really curious of how to teach English for second language learners in a fun and friendly environmental way, which got me derived and motivated to learn and to go forward for TESOL on that case. And I realized that this is going to be really great for me because it's going to affect greatly, positively to my present or future career. And at that moment, I realized, okay, I think I'm going to become a lecturer because that's in line with my field of study. That's in line with what I really love to do. So every time I teach right now, I don't really have that burden because I just enjoy it. And I feel like I'm doing a healing process doing teaching. I don't feel like it's a burden at all for me. And plus I got money. So it's, you know, it's like a win-win solution kind of thing. And that thing actually developed me to become a better person by, oh, really becoming a lecturer. I didn't only get improvement only to teaching students, but students actually teach me how to teach, if you guys understand what I mean. So basically, when we go in the worlds of teaching, it's not us who teaches the students. From what I've got, it's the students who teach us, because we really need to improve our quality and standards and methods. How can I make the fun learning situation, especially after the pandemic, was really hectic. Everyone was like daring situation, and then comes during boom. So yeah, so I realized that, oh, really teaching is just my passion, and it can develop me to become a better person because I can do some research about that as well. And I can put it in journal articles, and that research can actually be applied at my teaching practice. So really, when we try to understand ourselves, one of the key points is really develop us of whatever we're doing to become a better person, not only for us, but also for the community around us, for our parents, hopefully as well, but mostly for the community around us and hopefully for Indonesia. And I think for LPDP scholarship as well, that's one of the key points and main points. You need to really be able to contribute and come back to Indonesia. It doesn't have to be a big like Indonesian country. It's just like part of your community, because something small will create something bigger. Okay. And then how will you achieve that? So when I realized that I wanted to become a lecturer and I wanted to do my master's degree, I started understanding what kind of scholarship do I need to fund me for the master degree. And then, so I decided to look for some scholarship. At first, I applied for LPDP, I applied for AAS, I applied for Fulbright, what is it called? Chevening, Orange Tulip. So I applied basically every scholarship. I didn't really understand what I want right at that time. I just like, okay, I'm just gonna have a go, applying all scholarships. And during the interview session, I got lost because really the questions was just like, okay, so what kind of university, or what university did you choose to study? And I said like, oh, okay, I want to go to Red Dot Uni. And the interviewer will go, okay, so why do you choose that uni? And I was like, well, because my seniors were there. Like, what kind of answer was that? Doesn't make sense. Oh, sorry, I spoke Indo. Anyways, continue. So yeah, so from that moment, I've noticed that, oh, I gotta change my plan. I gotta understand what kind of scholarship I really want. And at that moment, I realized that LPDP actually can branch out to many universities. But because I changed my plan first, so I took a further step by considering what kind of uni do I need to really get in with that course of study that I want, TESOL. So I start searching, and I've in the QS World Rank, if you guys realize that, And then in the QS World Rank, it was noticed that I think it was England the first, if I'm not mistaken, and then Australia was like somewhere around 10 or at 10 until 20-ish. But I considered Australia because I'm not really familiar with the Britain situation. I don't know, like I feel like I'm really scared if I go there and I don't have the courage or guts to get there. If you guys do have that, then that's fine, you know, go for it. But because I feel like, oh, I think Australia is going to become a part of my home. I just feel confident there. I love the weather and everything else. So I decided to go to Australia. And then I decided to go to University of Sydney because the course studies that were offered in the University of Sydney was correlating to the ones that I really want for my future career. One of them is second language acquisition. It's like acquiring English kind of thing for students. So that's when I've noticed that, okay, so this is my passion. This is what I like. This is what I want. So I'm just going to go for it. I will apply for the University of Sydney from LPDP scholarship, and I have to know why. So I've learned this in a hard way, unfortunately. During my first trial of LPDP, you know, the one that I've told you guys earlier, I didn't know why I wanted to apply for that scholarship. But then after the scholarship application, the results came out and they said that I did not manage to get in. That's when I changed my plan to really understanding, why do I want this? That's when you have to, or that's when we have to make a course outline, something like a course outline, yeah, in an education, but it's more like a study plan. That's when I decided to make a real study plan of what I'm going to do in Australia and how I can achieve those things. So basically, like in the first semester, what am I going to study? What kind of course do I want to take in the first study? How will these courses contribute later to my future goals? Like, for example, becoming a lecturer, for example, yeah? And then how can I make that contributions real? So those kind of things I started to think about. For example, or do I want to make it in a workshop, you know, sharing my knowledge to the workshop, or do I want to make A, B, C, D, those kind of things. And I also did this to my doctoral degree because I already got a daughter. I have one daughter and she's 3 years old right now. She's very clingy. So it was really hard for me to manage my time, specifically during, you know, family time, taking care of my my husband and my daughter, and taking care of myself as well, and doing this proposal for my doctoral degree, all those kind of things. I really need to plan out what am I going to do so that later during my studies, I do not have to, you know, so that I can balance out everything, something like that. So that's why, again, I took TESOL because basically, okay, that's what I'm passionate about already. And I've already become a lecturer in the 2 universities that has been mentioned previously by Mr. Cahyo. And I think it will be great because when I come back, I don't have to burden anyone around my family. You know, this is why self-discovery is really important, because it will really get to know what we really want, and it will not be a backfire for us because the interviewer later will also ask things that you wrote in your essay about yourself. And if you don't really understand ourselves, I think it will be unfortunate, something like that. Okay, next. So to conclude, sorry, how many minutes do I have left? I lost count. 2 more minutes?
No, it's like you have 7 more minutes.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. That's great then. All right, so to conclude, this is something that I've realized during my application. And I've realized this when I failed my master's degree and when I did my interview on my PhD degree, just that 2 months ago, I think. I've realized that all of the interview questions were really asking me, are you done with yourself? And I think this is a big question because I've noticed that if we're not done with ourselves, done meaning here, like we're not really seeking for anything else, but we just want to give the best shot for us so that we can contribute to our community. That's done. Because I believe that if someone is seeking for other things, in this case, for example, money, sorry to say, I think it will really affect us. You know, it can make ourselves like unbearable of the things around us. And then eventually we're just seeking for money. We're not seeking for knowledge, or, you know, probably our knowledge will fall out and we don't have anything except for money. So this is why, like, the question, are you done with yourself in the past as well? Yeah. If we, for example, have traumas, have traumatic events, have problems with ourselves in the past, our younger age, I think that will also impact us to not really understand what we want. So a scholarship is really looking for a person who is really done with themselves, who really is not seeking for anything else, who is just peacefully living for the nowadays situation, and, you know, just ready to find a new knowledge because that's what I want, and I'm just seeking for new knowledge and I want to apply that to my students later. Things like that. It's basically like how to develop yourself. And the last is, are you willing to contribute to that situation? And make sure when we contribute, it does not feel like a contribution at all. I think that's one of the keys to make it seem like it's not a big contribution, because somehow when we feel like for instance, for example, yeah, in my case, if I teach and then I feel like, oh, okay, I'm going to make a volunteering activity and this is going to be my contribution, but if I feel that's a burden, then I don't really think that we're going to get something valuable from that. However, if we make this contribution something that we really enjoy for it, it's going to be fun. You know, it's going to be enjoyable and we're going to be addicted to it. I promise you guys. I've had experience with this as well. So I've been teaching to this, it's kind of like a institution school. And I've been teaching for the teachers there. So I'm the like a teacher coordinator kind of thing. And it's a very voluntary activity. And I enjoyed it so much because I just love teaching. And I just, you know, I just love spreading my knowledge about teaching. And I also love getting to understand their problems so that I can be more aware of the situations of teaching around me. So it's like a win-win solution by contribution. And yeah, so I think the last thing that I would say is that, especially for contribution, yeah, it's just to make sure that whatever we're doing is our passion and we enjoy for it. Otherwise, it's going to be a burden for us and we're not going to enjoy our life forever. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And I hope that's not too fast, Mr. Cahyo.
It's fine. It's fine.
Thank you.
All right. Did you finish? Sorry.
Yes. Okay.
All
and
right.
that's the last of the presentation. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Give a big applause, guys, for the presenter here today, Miss Nissa. Thank you so much. Yeah. It was like, yeah, it's like, how do I say it? Wait, I found the phrase. Wait, it's like a long life inspiring story, but you know, you managed to say it in 20 minutes. So like, it was just, wow.
Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, wow, it's really inspiring. All right. You know, if you have, I have many questions, and I think you guys have many questions too. But then keep it to yourself first, because we are going to do the focus group discussion. Yeah, you'll have to discuss and answer the questions from Miss Nissa. Yeah. So before we do that, I'd like to introduce the facilitators tonight. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Again, thank you, Miss Nissa. Yeah. I think you can stop sharing the screen. And then, yeah, the first facilitator here, the most good looking person here, Mr. Fahrur, will be the facilitator. Say hi to everyone, Mr. Fahrur.
Everyone, see you on room 3. Okay.
Room 3, yeah. Room 3 with Mr. Fahrur. And then we'll have this chubby Miss Gangas. Yeah. Say hi to everyone, Miss.
Okay, hello. I hope my charm will not distract you. So I'll see you in room 1.
Yeah. All right. Room 1 with Miss Gangas. Then the last child of the group, Miss Amalia. Say hi to everyone.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Amalia. So see you on room 2, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yes, you don't guess. Yeah. You are in room 2. All right. You know, I think it's gonna be nice if you can all turn on your camera, because we are having a photo session before you join the breakout room. So everyone, turn on your camera and say, Mr. Ian, as the media handler, will take your picture. So smile.
Okay, everyone, please turn on your camera. Okay, please turn on your camera, Miss Wardania, Mr. Abdullah.
Come on.
Come
Smile.
on, Mr. Hudan Eka, Miss Riswanti, Miss Elika, please turn on your camera. Okay, everyone, I will count down 3, 2, 1. Okay, again. Okay, wait. Okay, I will count down 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Ian. All right. Sorry guys, I'm a bit nervous. All right. Now it's time for you to join the breakout rooms. Yeah. I think you shall remember the rooms that you are assigned to. Join the room. Yeah. Group 1 with Miss Kangas. Group 2 with Miss Amal. Group 3 with Mr. Fahrul. Yeah. Can you guys join the breakout room? I think breakout rooms are ready. Yeah. Please join the breakout rooms. Breakout room is ready, ya, Mas Yan, ya?
Ready.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
ready.
Come on. Miss Nissa, don't go anywhere. You're stuck with me. Yeah. All right.
Sure.
Right. We have Mr. Abdullah, Yahya, Miss Tania. Yeah. Please join the breakout room, Mr. Hudan, Miss Wardania. Right. Yeah. Also the facilitators, join your rooms. Go out from here.
Wait a moment. Proses, bro.
Tania.
How to join the breakout room, Miss Tania? Yeah. I think you can choose the more, yeah, and then not more. Sorry, there should be an icon there. Okay.
I think you can assign her like manually.
Yeah. That's what he's doing, Mr. Ian. Go, Mr. Ian. All right. Wow. Okay. I think. Yeah. Again, as I said, Miss Nissa, it was really interesting. Like it's kind of. It's almost to the toilet later. Like it's a dream. Yeah, it's my dream, not hers. It's my it's my dream too. Right. Yeah, I have so many questions. I think we can start. Oh yeah, before I ask my question, I also want to greet people in the YouTube. Yeah, I think we have 500 something the live YouTube. So if you do have questions to Miss Nissa here, yeah, please ask your question to the comment section, and I will ask. I'll forward the question to Miss Nissa. Yeah. Thank you for listening to us. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully you have a good time. All right, Miss Nissa, back to you. Who are you? That question stuck to my mind. Like, yeah, I mean, all right. First question. If I'm not mistaken, you moved from literature to education. Like, can you please? I mean, I think you have said a little about that, but can you please elaborate more? Maybe like, how did that happen?
Okay, so actually the field of study for my bachelor degree that I took was English linguistics and literature, but my focus was on linguistics more.
Linguistics, sorry.
Yeah. Yes, that's fine. I also mentioned literature earlier. And one of the branches in the linguistics were about discourse, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And we learned about the discourse in the classroom. And that's when I started to realize that I've got interest in the classroom. And because when I did my bachelor, I teach private to, like little kids and senior high school students of English. I think we all do, yeah.
Yeah, we all do.
And I was really passionate passionate about teaching at that moment. And then one of the courses that I took at the university for my bachelor, there's a course called, I think I kind of forgot what it was called. It was called TESOL, if I'm not mistaken, teaching English for second language learners. Oh, TEFL, TEFL, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I took that because I was passionate about teaching. And from that, the lecture was really fun as well. He elaborated about, fun teaching, and he was a really fun person. We get to have simulations of teaching. And that's when I started to create ways to improve my teaching ability. I was working with my team member, with the groups, and then we have to create a certain kind of activity to make the classroom enjoyable for learning English. And so from that, I keep on learning about English education, and I started researching things that is conducted in the classroom, like why students is using the words so much during their presentation, those kind of things. I know it's kind of unimportant at some point, but then it got me really interested towards that topic. And so and then that's when I did my master's for teaching.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, I really can relate to that. All right. So here is what happened to me actually. I have in my bachelor degree, I got literature and then education linguistic. I love linguistic. But then when I wanted to do the master degree, this is I think this is what happened to me. I didn't know myself well enough how to I think it's like that. So I took the education simply because I was a bit afraid that I wouldn't get a job. Let's say someone or some people say you need to have these linear majors. You've heard about it, right? Linear majors. But then plus I wasn't good enough. I thought to myself I wasn't good enough at teaching because I kind of knew the language a little, but then I wasn't really confident at teaching. But then I think that's one I didn't know the moment I chose my major, I wasn't sure about myself. So the question would be, well, what do you think is more important? Let's say in high school, you have talent versus interest, right? But then in my case would be job opportunity versus interest. So what would you say to that?
I don't know. I feel and I actually learned this just a few days ago, Kak Cahyo. I called you Kak, yeah.
Okay.
So I've realized that when I put everything with an interest, when I put everything wholeheartedly, something like that, yeah. Wholeheartedly means that it's what you enjoy, right? What you're interested in. I feel like everything around me is just supporting me. From families, from job opportunities, from my parents, everything just keeps on flowing if I do it wholeheartedly, something like that. So if it's in your case, job opportunities versus interest, I would still go with interest at that point. I'm not sure because, probably because my field of study is teaching, and it's quite easy probably to get that kind of teaching field. However, again, if we just put ourselves wholeheartedly, as I've previously mentioned, and just do it, with a sincere heart, I don't know, it just somehow everything just works and evolves around you at that moment. And you can always create job opportunities with what you really enjoy the most. For example, if you enjoyed linguistics, you can also become a linguistic lecturer, right? I've heard there are many thousands of researchers as well who's doing linguistics, and I never can relate with. I actually enjoy linguistics at some point, but it's just not my, when I did my master, one of my lecturers, I don't know if you heard of Brian Poltridge. Do you know him?
Yeah, I've heard. I don't know him.
Yeah. You've heard. Yeah. Okay. So he was one of my lecturers, and he taught us discourse analysis. And really, it was just like a flashback to my bachelor because that's what I learned. Discourse. And what was it called? Maxims, this kind of thing. And the first time I got my score, it was like only 60 something. It was the lowest score for my master's degree at that time. So that's when I realized that I really don't have any passion whatsoever on linguistics. So I started to just follow my dreams and my interests. Yeah, so I guess like if you just, do something, even if it's not your interest at that point, but you seem like, or you make it enjoyable for yourself, it just works out for you at the end of the day. That's what I realized a few days ago, just then.
All right, that's really interesting. Like I'd like to wrap that up. Like when choosing your path, like go with your passion and do the things wholeheartedly. I think that's really important, right? Because like many people, like I have this passion, this is my passion, but then they don't really do the things.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what that's why, as I previously mentioned about contributions, right? If you really enjoy about what you're doing, it won't feel like a contribution at all. It just feels like you doing something that you enjoy, that kind of thing. And it's just healing. To be honest, it heals yourself. When I teach, I love it so much that every time I see my students, it's just like a healing process for me.
Yeah. Well, I can relate to that, but maybe totally. All right. So, as you are a lecturer, right? So, I think this applicable for other people here or the participant. Some of them are also lecturers, and most of our audience actually are, and most of them are, how do I say, like people who work in education. So, yeah, can you please tell me like what are the ups and downs of being a lecturer?
Sure. I think I will just tell the downs parts first, because, and I will relate this to when we had COVID at the first time. It was kind of shocking actually, getting to prepare for daring situations. Daring in this case, I mean daring, not daring, but daring situations in online, not face-to-face interaction, those kind of things. So actually, when I had my master's, I think you already know about this now, flipped classroom. Yes. So my master lecturer, one of my master lecturers, her name is Marie Stevenson. She introduced us to flipped classroom strategy, and I was really enthusiastic about that. And I just want to apply that directly to my students later when I teach. I just have that kind of chance, but I didn't know when to do that. And then because in Indonesia, there were no specific curriculum or syllabus that we made for flipped classroom, right? Especially if you're teaching ESP, it's really hard when you can apply that, And then and so that pandemic, it was really like the best opportunity for me to just apply the flipped classroom strategy. So I would upload all materials in the Google Classroom or in the e-learning, and then when we had the Zoom meetings, we can just discuss and do some games whatsoever. However, it wasn't as easy as I thought, because I uploaded in the Google Classroom all of the materials, but then I was noticed that more than half of my students did not read the materials because it was really boring, I think. And I also like made them videos like to make the explanation a little bit easier for them to be understood. But again, most of them didn't watch the video. So when we had the discussion session at the Zoom meetings, it was really hard to have the fluency going. And the games weren't as interesting as it was going to be, because again, it was online. So it was not as fun as it would be. It's very just like flat. And it was really hard. So I think that was the down moments, especially on the very first semester of the online situation. So it was like first 6 months-ish. I did so many strategies, like I did quizzes, I did Kahoot, did not work out. And then I think it was like on the second time we had the online class, that's when I had some strategies, a little bit, like little by little strategy. And I also asked some fellow mates and what they're doing. And I was kind of shocked, actually. Most of my colleagues were only like discussing through WhatsApp, and the class was quite alive. So I'm just like, oh, okay, should I do that? So it turned out that the Zoom meetings that were previously supposed to be done almost every meeting, it was reduced up until only about like 20% because most of the students didn't have quota to join the Zoom, and they feel like it's boring. It's actually my research now, that Zoom meeting thing. And yeah, and I found out that it was quite boring until I found this platform, and this is my research. So this platform that I'm doing, that I'm researching for my PhD is called Live Worksheets. I'm not sure, Kak Cahya, have you heard that?
Never. What was that?
No, yeah, okay. So it's liveworksheets.com.
Oh, live.
So you can basically make your own worksheet online. And because I really love to teach speaking, right? So my focus was on speaking on that time. And so I gave these worksheets to my students, and it can really improve their pronunciation because it's like an AI stimulated kind of worksheet. So when they pronounce words, they can be recorded, and then they can understand whether their pronunciation is correct because the words that is recorded there will be shown, right? If it's correct, then it will be shown correctly, something like that. So that's when I realized, oh, okay, this is fun. And it can also be an autonomous learning for them. So I don't have to be there 24/7 to facilitate them. They can work independently and things like that. And I realized that they improved their speaking skills. And during the discussion session, it was a little bit alive at that moment, you know. So I think that's one of the down moments. But then I got a little bit, there's very little strategies how to handle that situation. But it was the most, like, the hardest moment ever for me, for teaching, for lecturing, especially because I really can't, you know, look at them and be there for them. It's really, you know, I don't know what to say. But then at the ups moment, because we're in the new semester now, right? We've been teaching for a couple of weeks. I loved it because I've enjoyed so many. I've seen so many faces going inside the classroom, and you know, just greeting them to say hello, good morning, Assalamualaikum, how are you, everyone, and then good morning, Miss, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. You know, this kind of SD platform that they're still using. And the most moment that I would say enjoyed is probably when I use games, because when I teach English to them, I know it's going to be boring if it's really just theoretical, especially when you teach grammar, right? So that's when I started to use games. So I had this method in my classroom. Participation and activation will be counted based on the points that they get on the game. So they need to make sure that they be actively participating so that they can get points, and those points can be transferred into scores. So it's like a Shopee payment method kind of thing. So whenever you have like 5 points, so 5 points is counted for 1 score. So that's when I think that's when they're really motivated. And just then I just teaching Teknik Kimia, one of the students at ESP. You know, because they're really enthusiastic, the whiteboards fell down. So they were like competing to write. The whiteboards fell down, and then and they were just like shouting with fun and everything else. And then at the end, they were like, "Oh, thank you so much, Miss. This is like the best class we've had." And so I'm so touched, you know. And when I heard about that, so yeah, it's really nice. That I would say that the optimum would be to see the students being happy about our teaching technique, and they actually get something from our teaching without feeling burdened. I think that's it.
Yeah. That's really relatable. I mean, the satisfaction that we get, from you know, making people happy. It's cliche, but it's true, especially for teachers, right?
Exactly.
Especially when they, you know, reach their dream somehow. Like like there's like some of my children, Mister, now I'm in Germany or something. Let's say they took my like IELTS prep, or you know, my class. Like I thought like I didn't do anything, but then he's there now. And like, you know, like getting something, you know, like when students get something from us and then they thank us, like that's, I think it's more precious than money, right?
Yes.
somehow I don't know why, but somehow it's interesting. Also the flipped classroom, like, okay, can I share a little about the flipped classroom? Like,
sure, yeah.
So
I'm so sorry, hold on, Kak Cahyo. My daughter is here next to me. She wants to sit in my lap. Is it okay?
It's fine. Say hi. Hello. Hello.
Enggak, yaudah, okay, go ahead.
All right, so maybe she's camera shy. camera shy.
Camera shy.
Yeah, funnily enough, like I used the flip classroom even before the pandemic. So yeah, even before the pandemic. So luckily, before this university, I was teaching in like Instipur, like a farming institute, and then we got a deal with the rector. Because you mentioned it's difficult to do the classroom, right, in offline situation, but then we got a deal with the lecturer, not the lecturer, the rector. So like, you can do whatever you want so long as my students can speak. That's
so
what
nice.
he said. Yeah, that's what he
That's
said.
the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's the best thing ever. All right, then okay, but then we prepared lots of videos, like so every meeting the students have to watch the video. Like their efficiency was so low. Sorry to say, it was so low. So like, it was like, that's the only thing. Like they really need to watch the whole video and then check that, and then they practice. Let's say maybe the explanation would be 10 to 15 minutes. Yeah. And then the rest of the hours would be practice. Yeah. And then again, that's the thing, the video. In my professional university, the video wasn't really interesting. Like, it was old and yeah. But then in UAE, we made the videos. We ourselves made the video. And of course, it was tiring. But then, yeah. But then it was worth it, I believe. Like the flip classroom, I think we're still using it. It's really quite efficient somehow.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And okay, actually, this is what I've been facing recently. So about the games, like sometimes you want to make the class fun, right? But then you also have achievements, objectives, things you need to achieve or materials you need to finish. When I do the games, sometimes like the students got into the games too much. Like, let's do the game again, Mr. Like that to the next meeting, to the next meeting. So what I had was that, like, okay, they were happy, but then the objectives are not not achieved fully. Like, do you have the same experience, or everything goes really well with you?
Fortunately, everything so far is quite smooth for me because I don't know, probably it's a different strategy, I'm not sure, but I've been doing this game for like discussion, so it's like okay, let me give you an example. It's kind of hard for me to explain it. So for example, we have to achieve, especially for ESP, right? Usually we have to achieve like reading, and then at the first meeting we have to have like subject, verb, argument, or present tense, whatever. And then I will give my students activities like in reading, for example, doing skimming and scanning technique, and then they will need to answer true, false questions. They will work with their groups, but they have to do all of it together. And then after that, they will have to do some vocabularies, activities, and everything. And I will only give them usually like 10 to 15 minutes to do all text and questions and answers, because they're working in groups, right? And that is the game will be for the discussion session. So when I discuss, I will not only ask them like, okay, what's number one, number two, but I will ask them one by one, and then I stated what the right answer is. And when they got it right, they will get points, things like that. So it's just like a discussion, so that the discussion will be alive somehow. And then usually I will facilitate them with papers. So they will like, hold up a paper, like for example, true or false, then they hold up the true or they hold up the false. So it's just like to make the discussion fun. And then the games will be for grammar. So I gave them like a list. I gave them like lists of vocabularies, of verbs that need to be transferred into present perfect or past tense. And then, so I asked them, okay, you're group 1, you're doing this, group 2, you're doing this, group 3, and then group 4. And you only have 10 seconds to complete the whole thing. And they will be like representative from one group, and then they will move the board marker to the next person, things like that. And when I ask them like 10, 9, so I start counting, right? And then they say, what is it? Things like that. And so again, during the discussion session, I will discuss to them, like, for example, okay, well, this is correct. Why is it correct? And they will say, oh, because it's past tense, there's already a year there, things like that. So it's mostly like the game usually is for the discussion session, Kak Cahyo, because I think like if we're using the games not for discussion. It's going to take too much time, right? And you will not get that objective as you've mentioned earlier. I've experienced with that actually. One of the at UIN, the institution, because the proficiency level at UIN is quite low. It's lower than in Brawijaya, right? For the students itself. So I need to manage the games more slowly at times and more creative so that they're really enjoying the process of the games without missing out the objectives. But during my first trial, it was really hard because there were so many mistakes. So it didn't turn out like a game. You know, it's just like, get over here. What should I do? Things like that. But then when we get to understand the proficiency level and everything else, I understood, okay, so I think this is more of, you know, having to be discussed in a good way. So it's just like the discussion instead of the games process itself.
Really interesting. Like, you do love teaching. Like, that's what I get from your explanation. Like, you do love teaching because you do more, right? Like, you do a lot more than, let's say, compared to other lecturers to make the class fun and lively. As you
really?
mentioned.
I think everyone is like that as well.
No, believe me, not everyone. All right. Okay. Well, I think it's been more. It's getting personal now. I want to ask related to the topic.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned about. Okay, I hope it's fine for me to switch here. You mentioned about study plan or study course. Like, you mentioned it's really important, right? So you really need to. And you also mentioned about you have to finish with yourself because you are going to look for knowledge alone. Can I say that? Right? Not money.
Yeah, knowledge alone. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So do you have tips or, you know, like certain tips about the study plan, like how we should be?
Sure.
Yeah,
sure. Okay, so my students have been actually asking a lot about this as well. Basically, when we already understand and when we're clear enough what we're going to study and already have the university, it's really important to get to that university's webpage and then to find the courses that we're looking for. Usually in the university webpage information, we will get very many information, a lot of information about the courses that we will get. So the offered courses, for example, in TESOL, we have like second language acquisition, we have research methodologies to teach, we have methodologies to teaching, discourse analysis, things like that. And it's really important for us to plan in the first semester and the second semester, because I only did my master for 1 year, of what I'm going to do. Are you going to do full research? Are you going to do like coursework and then research? Or are you going to do only coursework? Why? Because the study plan needs to correlate to the future plan as well, right? Like, for example, for me personally, when I focus on teaching, my teaching focus is for, actually, my first plan was not to teach ESP, actually. My first plan was to teach the teaching knowledge to English students, you know, not to teach English to non-English students. But then, you know, God's the only plan. God's the best planner for me. So because I had that kind of plan earlier before my this plan, my what I got right now, teaching ESP and everything. So I really just took lessons or courses that are related to the theoretical kind of things, you know, more of that instead of the practical. But then this is interesting because, in the first semester, I get to really have this motivation to change directly, to alter to the teaching ESP students. And that's when I plan to study more about teaching English for second language learners. So, but the thing is, when you want to make a study plan, either for a master's or for a PhD, it's just that it's really important for you to go into the university's webpage to understand what they offer you in the, like, for 2 semesters, or for example, for PhD for 4 years, and how you're going to handle those kind of situation. Like in the first year, what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to have introduction to the supervisor, for example. So we need to write that down in an essay. Usually the study plan for a scholarship, we have to write that down. So your essay will consist of your future plan, and then your courses that you're going to take, and how that courses can contribute or can help you to achieve your future goal, something like that. So like, as I've mentioned earlier, okay, SLA, how is SLA going to help you achieve your goal? Oh, so we can understand student psychological aspects, for example, probably how they acquire language, what do they need, what kind of skills do they need to acquire a language, things like that. So yeah, they need to be, so that's why I've mentioned that study plan is really important. And during the interviewing process, usually they're gonna ask you about that. Like they're gonna ask you, okay, so what's your plan on the first year? Or are you gonna have prerequisite? Are you gonna be studying only, or are you gonna do research only? You know, we usually scholarship scholarship applicants like us, the ones that are really sure of what they're going to do later there is the ones that will get accepted more, I believe, because we can make them assure that we're ready as an applicant and to be an awardee. You know, they can rely on us, something like that. Oh yeah, that's the first question. And then what's the second? Done with yourself, yeah. Yeah, and so I guess that when we can make a kind of essay, a kind of rigid study plan, concrete study plan, it really is a plus point to the board of directors or to the interviewer or to the examiners, because it can really show that we're ready and we're done. In this case, yeah, we're done with ourselves, meaning that we're just really seeking for, oh, we've got plans, you know, on the first year I'm going to do this, on the second, third, and fourth year. Because honestly, there was so many applicants that cried during their interview section, and whether the interviewer is asking them about their past experiences or probably asking about their down moments, and they cannot really handle that down moment situation, and then they started to cry. It's just showing that they're not done yet with that situation. So if they're not done yet, how can they be ready for the next thing? Things like that. So that's what I meant by done with themselves. So they're not really looking for anything else there. They're not looking for, I don't know the English word, pelarian, you know?
A shoulder to cry.
Okay, yes, yes. You know, they're not looking for their soulmates or their spouses there. They're just looking for knowledge.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Like, I'm not done with myself, but so all right. You mentioned about the rigid plan, and I think, okay, you also have applied to many scholarships, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know, what would be your advice? Like, do I, let's say I'm going to apply, and then do I need a plan B? Let's say the plan A doesn't work. Like, do I need plan B, C, or D, or do I need to, stick to one, big plan and do everything to do that? Yeah. So, what would be your personal advice?
It really depends on the person, because one of my friends, she was really enthusiastic about one scholarship, so she would really put her heart and soul into that scholarship. However, because I'm kind of like I feel like I'm very ambitious at some point, so I just applied for all scholarship at once. But then again, I need to really make sure which is my priority. Which scholarship do I really want, because this scholarship can really fund me, and it's the scholarship that I'm really looking for because of its benefit. So I think one of my advice would be that you can still try for applying as many scholarship as you want. It's never wrong for that, but you still need to prioritize which scholarship do you really want the most, and you need to know why you really want that scholarship. For example, LPDP, why I'm really aiming for LPDP is just because I'm an alumni, and I know how great it is for the alumni bonding there to really contribute and give to Indonesia, especially to the society. And I can really be supported for my contributions, like, oh, I have this idea, and then we can share the idea, and then it's actually done. We don't really get to talk too much, and it's done, things like that. And that's why I really want to become an awardee of LPDP again, because I just love the community there. It's just so supportive. And then the second is the funding that the LPDP gave. not the living allowance, things like that, but the conference allowance, the research paper allowance.
Okay.
It's just like, it's so much, you know, no other scholarship has given that. And I'm sponsoring LPDP now, but anyways,
You are.
but it's true though. I mean, I don't know if any scholarship is doing that. I'm not sure, but I got fund for my conference, and I think it's very important for master's or doctoral degree, like especially for to have conferences to really upgrade our knowledge and everything else, right? So that's what I was looking for specifically from LPDP, and a book allowance and other things. And then but then again, yeah, because you need to have plan A, plan B, and plan C, it's really important for you to apply for other scholarships. But again, you need to prioritize which one. And it's not only about scholarship, but it's also like, what kind of strategies are you going to be taking? Are you going to apply for letter of acceptance first and then to get a scholarship, or vice versa? Things like that. I'm not really sure for many scholarships now, but I've heard that like Australian Awards, Chevening, Fulbright, they don't need letter of acceptance yet. LPDP doesn't also need a letter of acceptance. So I also got accepted without letter of acceptance for my doctoral degree, but for my master's, I got accepted with letter of acceptance. So I'm not sure, until today, I'm not sure which do they really prioritize the most. Is it the one who got LOA or not? But again, those kind of strategies are really the ones that you need to think of. Before, like in the past, IELTS was just one of the strategies that you can, okay, I'm just going to do IELTS later when I got accepted for my scholarship. But then today it's like the most requirement that you need, right? So then that's why I decided to take IELTS at first, and then to think of the next strategies and so forth. So yeah, for me personally, it's just not a matter of choosing or applying for all scholarships, but also thinking about the rigid steps, like, are you going to take IELTS first? Are you going to do LOA? Are you going to, email your supervisors first? Which one works for you the best? Things like that.
All right. Yeah. All right. So I never applied once. Never. So maybe some other people there also never did that. So what would be, or how much time would be the ideal time to prepare? Like, let's say it's happening on March or May, maybe, and then like how much time really? Like, do we need a year to plan everything out, or do we need like months, or what do you think?
Yeah, for me personally, Kak Cahyo, it took me like 1 year for my master degree to prepare. So I failed at 2015. I think it was second batch. And then I applied again for 2016 second batch. And I got awarded there. And for my doctoral degree, I don't know how many years it took me to apply. I think it was like 2.5 years. It was so long for me because my conditions changed, right? I got a kid now and I'm teaching and I'm really busy with the teaching, taking care of the house and everything else. So it took me a longer time. So I really I just want to give like a specific information personally from me. Probably it will also work for you as well, especially if you have families. You need to really think of a strategy of when you can be alone. And for me, it's the nighttime. So I'm a very night owl person. I don't know if you can see my eyes. Like
no, I don't see it. You're
like
terrified.
Or no, yeah, okay.
You're good.
Yeah, so usually when my daughter is asleep, I would just for IELTS last time, because I didn't do IELTS for like 2 years, I need to refresh everything. So I would study IELTS for that. And then before subuh, so before I took her for school and before I go to college to lecturing, I usually write for my proposal for the PhD proposal, because I'm not done with that yet. And it really just took me that 2.5 years to really understand what I want, especially for the doctoral, because really PhD at that moment wasn't my priority at first. I was just like, as I've mentioned to you, I was done with myself. Like, I'm not looking for anything else. I'm happy with my family and I'm happy with my work. And then that daring online situation hit me. And I was like, oh, I think I need to upgrade my knowledge, And then, so that's why I really decided to do PhD. And so daring was 2019, right? 2019, and today's 2022, 3 years, surprisingly. Yeah, so around 2.5 years from IELTS preparation, and then applying for supervisors, because I got rejected so many, right, for the supervisors as well. Finding the right campus, which campus I want, contacting with the supervisor, and then proposal, essay writing. Essay writing, especially when you apply for a scholarship, needs a very long time to revise, to rework. But when you first try to write essay, it's best if you can just put everything into your essay, like whatever you're thinking of, just put it there first. It doesn't have to make sense at the beginning. And then you come back to it again and then revise. That's what I've been doing for my proposal. And I just finished my introduction last week, and I haven't got a hand until today to finish the methodology. But every time I do have time, I always just put everything that I think in my head, and then I will go again, to work on it. And then again, there's my daughter, and so I just close the laptop and okay, let's do it tomorrow again. So it's really like a really long process for me.
Yeah, that's interesting. The last one, especially about the essay. I think everyone is, maybe like many people are being timid, when first time they write. Yeah, it's really useful advice. And I think I can say that a year like now is the time, right? Because I think LPDP is closing, right?
It's closed.
It's closed, right? So now is the time, like, to prepare, right?
Yes. Yes, I got lots of private students actually now preparing for LPDP.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm teaching IELTS, right? So I've got lots of private students preparing and essay writing as well. And yeah, I'm starting to guiding them which campuses they want, which scholarship, which kind of field of study they want to take. Those kind of things, because I believe that when you're from bachelor and then you're going to take masters, you're going to get lost. That's what I had for me, personally. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, So yeah, it's best to prepare from now before LPDP is opening. And other scholarships, we still have Australian awards and everything, right?
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Nissa. Everyone is coming back, by the way. Yeah. Hello, welcome back, guys. Welcome
back, everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, hello. How was the discussion? Super fun, huh? All right. It's good. Good. All right. Yeah, the last sentence I got from Miss Nissa was that now is the right time to prepare for your scholarship. Yeah, because she needed a year, he said. Yeah, approximately. Right. For the next agenda, since you are all here now, would be the group presentation. I would call the facilitator from group 1, Miss, I forgot her name. How is it? Miss Kangas, right?
Yep.
Okay, Miss Kangas. So who is the representative from your group, Miss?
Okay. Our ambassador is Mbak Sofiana. Sofiana, the time is yours.
Please.
It's time for you to shine. Okay.
Come on, but Sofiana, you're still muted. Come on, outshine Miss Kangas.
About the conversation at that room, it's so great, so fascinating. And about Miss
Nissa. Oh, Miss Kangas, the facilitator, Miss Kangas.
Miss Kangas, yes. Miss Kangas, so nice. Many information that we got from her, and then yes, everyone is speak so freely.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Sofiana.
You're welcome.
All right. The next one would be from group 2, Miss. All right, Miss Amal. I think I remember the name. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so I've picked one person from our room, and that is Mr. Hanif. Mr. Hanif,
Hey.
Are you ready? Yeah, it's time for you to shine.
Okay. Thank you so much for the time. So we discussed about 3 topics. The first is about have you applied for the scholarship, And the second is about what is the important needed to win the scholarship. And the last one is about what gets to know myself, is it important for us? So we discussed three of them. So our answer for the first question, yeah, we ever try to apply scholarship. And then for the second, the important point to join the one-off scholarship is about yourself. I mean, you have to upgrade yourself, you have to fulfill your curriculum vitae, and then you have to get to know yourself well. And also we need to like we have to know what is our goals. Like when you want to go to the one-off scholarship, you have to know the requirement or the anything like we need to fulfill. So the last one is about I write on my handphone. Yeah, does getting knowledge of getting does know about ourselves is important? Yeah, we answer yes, because we have to know about ourselves, and then we can use something like tools to know about ourselves, like 16 personalities or something like that. Okay, maybe that's our conversation or our dialogue in my room. I think Miss Amalia is good, one of good facilitator in here. So thank you so much for Cilacs and anyone in this group. Okay, thank you. Maybe that's all.
Thank you, Mas Hanif. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So Miss Amal is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't seen anyone else. All right. The next one will be Mr. Farur. Mr. Representative, Mr.
Right. So my room choose Mas Taufan.
Mas Taufan.
Mas Taufan, please. Okay, practice your English.
Okay. Hello, Auntie Nissa. Hello, Uncle Tahyo. Hello, everyone. My name is Taufan, and before that, I want to big thanks for Cilacs who made SpeakUp English community. It's very helpful for me because I can practice English, especially speaking skills with lot English language expert in here, and it's free, of course. And then I love how Uncle Fahrur approached us to make class feel live, with always give us feedback with his smiles all of time. The conclusion in breakout room that what I got is first session is introduction each people, and then continue by how what we learned in our major to another participant in our back room. And then thank you guys for you all awesome. It means a lot for me. And I hope we can keep in touch outside this class. For Auntie Nissa, I'm sure I won't forget the tips and strategies you teach me for next 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
Thank you for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas Taufan. All right. So Miss Nissa, you brought him here, yeah?
I really didn't realize.
All right. Yeah.
I'm great. I'm happy that he's here because of me, though.
Okay. Yeah. But wow, I love the the attitude, the atmosphere, the vibe you bring, Mas. Thank you. Yeah, you are all awesome, guys. Yeah. Okay. The next agenda would be the Q&A session, guys. So you'll have time, approximately 15 minutes. So please use the Zoom feature of raise hand. Raise your hand if you have questions to Miss Nissa here. Okay. 3 people who wants to ask questions to Miss Nissa. Anyone? Anything? I mean, she accepts anything, professional, personal questions. No? Come on. Or the facilitators can also ask questions. Yeah, if you have questions here.
I think everyone here is quite an expert already, Kak Cahyo.
Oh, No. All right, Miss Elika. That's first questionnaire, and then second we have second code 1, second code 2, second code. All right, all right. Miss Elika, you can start with your questions. You can ask the question.
Thank you, Mr. Cahyo. Miss Nissa, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Kak Elika.
Miss Nissa, I want to ask about the visa when you go to Australia. How many price that you have to? I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, because I think when we have goals, when we want to go to study with another country, we have to prepare the financial maybe.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Menabung gitu.
Yeah. Okay. Gotta do saving. Yeah.
Yeah. Saving. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, do I answer now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So Kak Elika, nice and very interesting and unexpected question actually. So the visa itself for like only making the visa, it will only cost about 1 to 2 million, I think. Million is juta, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I forgot there. So 1 until 2 million for the visa, but you gotta have like it depends if you're, because I went there with my husband for my master. So I think if I'm not mistaken, we need to prepare around like 50 million-ish, 50 until 75 million-ish in our bank saving. And it needs to be there for about 1 month already. Yeah, but for PhD, I'm not sure. Like, I mean, if you're planning to have you only, I think it won't cost that much. It won't cost until like 50 million. I think it's only about 20-ish. Because you need to cover the OSHC, Overseas Student Healthcare. It's an insurance for you, so that, you know, if naudzubillah mendalik, but if something happens to you in Australia, you will still be guaranteed for the safety and everything else. It's about 20 to 30 million-ish, I think, if you're still single. But you can always ask agents. I think there are many agents for you to help if you want to go to Australia, America, or any other countries. You can ask them like, how many exactly the price do I need to prepare for the visa? But the scholarship will usually cover afterwards. So you can, they will reimburse your visa allowance later. Okay, Kak Elika?
Okay, thank you, Miss Nissa.
You're very welcome.
All right. I hope that answer. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah. We have Mas Hanif here also asking question. Mas Hanif.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for the time. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. I forgot about the time. Sorry. Okay. For Miss Nissa, I've been in Melbourne in 2019. And then I found one of my difficulties is about language. Do you find any difficulties when you talk with the foreign for the Australian people? So how you can deal with that? And yeah, maybe that's my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kak Mifta, for the question. Yes, I think it's more like of a culture shock situation. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, I didn't really get the difficulties of talking to the Australian, because I actually lived in Sydney, right, for my master's. And the Sydney people, the Sydney siders, we usually call them, the Sydney siders, we talked very much like, you know, non-native English speakers for all of us. And then there are so many countries migrating to Sydney. We've got like Bangladesh people, we've got Lebanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Thailand. We've got so many Indonesian people. So the accent of Australian is just gone at some points, unless we go to the bushes and, you know, to the outbacks. And then that's when we will find the Aussie accent going there, like, howdy mate, stuff like that. It was really hard to understand that, right? But when we go to the city, it wasn't really quite hard. And my supervisors, my lecturers there were also noticeable that we're dealing with that they're dealing with non-native English speakers, so they really speak quite slow. So we're able to understand. But if in the case, you know, you have trouble understanding the Australian accent, probably my suggestion would really just to increase your listening skills. And I think this will also relate to IELTS as well. Yeah. You can try to listen to Australian podcasts. You can go to TED Talks. Are you familiar with that?
Not
TED
really.
Oh, okay. Is it okay if I type it on the chat box for Kacha
Oh,
here?
okay.
Please.
And yeah, okay. So you guys can go here for your listening. Yeah, you can go to TED Talks. You can go to NetGeo. NetGeo is basically mostly like some of them are British, and British and Aussie has almost the same accent, right? Yeah. So NetGeo is a good strategy for increasing listening. Listening. And then you can also go to the other one. I'm so sorry, I forgot. Not New York Times. Oh, BBC. So you can go to YouTube. You search just like NetGeo. I just love listening to that NetGeo voice because it really calms me as well. For before you go to sleep, they're so soothing. So you can try to understand, to try improving your listening skills from there, and you can try to transcribe that. So try to transcribe. And I think that can help you improve the Australian accent for this case, Kamifta. Hopefully that helps.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Do we have a third questioner? Okay, Mas Hudan, please.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I'm sorry, I can turn on my screen.
It's okay.
Okay. Hello, Miss Nissa. How are you?
Great, thank you.
I would like to ask to you. I would like to you to give some advices for me. I'm a man. I have family. I have a job, but I don't know how to manage my time when I have planned to apply a scholarship. Could you like to give some advices for me how to manage best? Thank you.
Okay, so we actually talked about this earlier, yeah, Kak Cahyo.
It's getting personal.
And actually, I brought Kak Hudan here, so I really know him.
Okay.
Anyhow, so yeah, I think this can also be for everyone who has families, yeah, in here, whether it's men or women, because we all have dreams, right? So probably for time management, I would say, like, if you have a specific time where none of your family is awake, I think that will be the best time for you to really be engaged to yourself. And I also talked about this to Kak Cahyo earlier. So I will usually be working after my children is asleep. My daughter is asleep, because I will not be able to get my work done when she's asleep. So I will usually work from 9 because she's in school now. So and we have almost the same age kid, I think. So because they're usually asleep at around 9, right? 8 to 9-ish. So I will usually work around 9 until 12, until the best that my eyes can stand. And in the morning, before I go to college, before I work, I would write for about 250 words at least for my proposal. So whatever I got, like whatever is in your head, if you're preparing for essay, for example, or if you're preparing for IELTS, for example, and you're trying to write for your writing before you go to college or before you go to work, at that earliest morning is the best that brain works, right? You would wake up, the 5 minutes after you wake up, that's when the brain starts working effectively. If I'm not mistaken, I read that in a journal. I'm not sure, I forgot what journal it was. So that's when you can try to directly write everything that's in your head. I guess that's for essay writing, for IELTS, anything. And try to write with a minimum of at least 200-ish words, because I'm sure that 200 is quite a lot, right? So when you type in whatever it is, like even if you don't have a reference yet, just write. The reference can be later, after you finish writing, and then you come back again after that. I think that would really try to make it able to manage your time. It will take a very long process, I know. And I've been there, and I'm doing it right now as well. It's a very long process. I can't get in touch with my proposal for about like 1 week now, and that's fine. I'm just enjoying my process at the moment. But that's, yeah, so that's how I try to manage my time. And I know Kak Udan here is also a lecturer, Kak Cahyo, so he is also working like from 9 to 6, those kind of things. And I believe everyone here who's in college as well, yeah. So after you guys finished, resting, you need to just, I think you need to just work after the night hour, and then before you go to work. And you need to have target what you have to finish on that day. Like, okay, you need to make a schedule. Today I have to finish writing, for example. Today I have to finish introduction. Oh, my target is by September, I have to submit this, that, this, things like that. And I think that will be a motivation for your own self, regardless of whether it's going to finish at that time or not. However, I think it's just going to boost your motivation at that time. It's really hard. I know you have to sacrifice your sleeping hour, and that's so hard, believe me. But then, yeah, hopefully that will work for you as a man.
Okay, thank you, Mrs.
Yeah.
When my son got sleep, I sleep too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll try to change my habit. Okay, thank you so much, Mrs.
Okay, Mas Udan.
All right, thank you. I think all the questions have been answered, yeah, from the participants. Thank you. That will be the Q&A session. Now we move on to the next session. Well, before the today's speak, I want to give you some vouchers. We have some vouchers, yeah. Okay, let me show you the voucher. Give me some time. Where was that? So a voucher to take a program in Cilacs UI of 100,000 rupiah. Yeah. So so the voucher is for all programs. So we have so many programs. You can check us out on cilacs.ui.ac.id. So all programs like TOEFL, IELTS, pronunciation, grammar, and presentation, and some other programs. You get 100,000 discount. And the winner goes to okay, I'm not hearing the drums roll. All right. So the winner are Miss Elika and Mr. Hanif. Congratulations for the two of you. Congratulations. Yeah. 100,000 rupiah voucher.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. We will contact you later through WhatsApp. Yeah. We'll send the voucher to you. All right. Hello. Wow, Miss Nissa Junior is joining us.
Yeah, sorry, she's a bit sleepy. So.
It's fine. And then, as I promised you guys, this is what I got. I believe you got a lot more from Miss Nissa and in your discussion too. But this is the today's pick, I would say. Going to share it here. So we talked about this with Miss Nissa, and then this is what I got. So when choosing your path, go with your passion. That's first. But then don't forget to do the things wholeheartedly. Some people just, this is my passion, but they do not really do what it needs. So do the things wholeheartedly, and she said, I quote it, so all will support you. She said, yeah, all maybe can be family, friends, God, environment, everything. Yeah, if you're sincere, I also believe in that. The nature, they say, will help you out. Right, that will be the today's speak. Yeah, this brings us to the closing. I think I didn't miss anything out, right? Yeah. No. Okay. Let's take the last picture. The closing
Is
picture.
She okay to join?
Yeah, please join us, and we will do this this pose with the C letter, means Cilacs UI, yeah. So Miss Ian, Mr. Ian, are you still here?
Okay, Mr. Cahyo, everyone, please turn on your camera. I will take pictures again Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I will count down 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
One more,
Okay, one more. Okay. Okay. Okay, I will count down 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That's my time. Thank you so much, Miss Nissa and Miss. Who is that? Thank you.
Oh, her name is Sydney.
Sydney. Wow, Sydney. Thank you. What a nice name. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Come back to us again next month. I hope you enjoyed the event tonight. Yeah. Yeah, as Mas Taufan said, we can still in contact. Yeah, we have the WhatsApp group. Yeah, you can share, discuss anything. All right. Sorry if I did something wrong. See you next occasion. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you guys. Thank you.
Guys, see you.
See you, everyone. Thank you. Bye. Have a good rest. Thank you, everyone. But Ika, please stay here.
I know.
Hello, Sydney. Hello
Bye,
there.
everyone. Thank you.
Does she speak English, Miss?
No, she's going to Aussie soon though, next year, inshallah.
So yeah.
She doesn't speak English.
Nice.
Oh.